Hello everyone and welcome back to week 11 for the overview for English 1510, Composition 1, Section A1232 of the online Comp 1 Asynchronous at Oakland Community College. Couple of quick housekeeping things from the prior week. First off, just make sure that you guys are following the dates as posted over on this right hand side. I did make some adjustments including rhetorical analysis, final drafts. I do believe everyone's summary and outline posted. I know a couple of you are still working on those. Remember, the rough draft, you're just getting the grade on the submission. If you did the peer-reviewed discussion board, that was your feedback on the drafting portion. Now, I try to make this very clear with some of the students. If you're doing a rewrite, if you went over the feedback, audio, and written commentary on the summary and outline, remember that those are supposed to be written, just like the one you're about to do here for the research paper. With the summary and working thesis on this one, and now the primary points of support and the outline, these are supposed to be done with as much diligence and attention to detail as you would for a paper itself, because that's what I respond to. Remember, I go through and grade those looking at the sentence level, the formatting, the content, the framing of ideas. You're supposed to do that in complete form in that pre-writing component so that I can address any issues structurally and with the content and layout. That does not mean that you can dismiss, but having the rough draft portion doesn't mean you can dismiss the pre-writing portion as being less significant. The rough draft was for a peer review session with classmates, and I gave everyone rubric response, draft credit, and submission based on meeting primary requirements. So if your format was askew, you didn't meet the word requirement, there were all kinds of sentence level issues and format was off, heading was not there, title, etc., you lost points on those things. But for the final draft, I went over summary and outlines and made my commentary there. I'm almost positive that everyone's already is posted, but I did extend this for students to have a little bit more time of review of going over that and your classmates' peer review in the discussion board before finalizing this one. The primary points of support are due December 4th by 11:30 p.m., so this evening. But by Thursday or Friday of this week, I should have these and the summary and working thesis back to students so that you will have them both as references for doing the outline and abstract. Now, regardless of that, you need to make sure that you guys are focused as it says down here in our weekly reading. Now, starting with week 10, following selection of the topics and summary and working thesis submission, all readings should now be focused on the peer-reviewed research, particularly articles and reports from the OCC databases for each student on their topic. So you're making sure that just like articles that are listed down here, you are finding your content from here and here only. Going to the library database, whatever your topic is. The last one on here I had was media literacy. I go here and I search my topic overall. Once I get into my search results, I have to select for full text available in peer-reviewed journals. I apply those filters. Remember, folks, what I'm already seeing with primary points of support is that some students do not appear to be getting their sources from these drop boxes. Unless it is a documentary or the rare instance of a book, most of these you should be drawing from articles and reports that are research components done on your topic. Here, for instance, is one with an actual research report, an article written in cyber psychology about this topic, mediating social media use, connecting parents, mediation strategies, and social media literacy. We click on this one, and I can get my full online access from a couple of different places. This is Academic Search Complete and Open Access here. Regardless, if I decide to use this, I should be drawing on the citation function from this database. Here is the last name of the first author. Here's the next author. This information here should be of MLA 8th edition, and students should be copying and pasting this into their works cited page in alphabetical order and then formatting all of it in MLA format. in everyone's textbook, there is a page in the chapter on MLA format. There's a page that shows what a works cited page should look like. On these primary points of support, folks, that are due this evening, if you downloaded this template and you complete this by writing in topic sentences here, and you follow the directions on this page, moving your title only after you finish your topic sentences, moving your title down here, you should be able to paste these in alphabetical order. I'm going to go back to this database and grab one more so we can do this in order with proper citation. I want to show you guys a couple of things on here that I'm already seeing not being adhered to in this work itself. So if I now go here, I have this citation and this citation. I'm going to add both of these in. This one starts with D, this one starts with N, so I can leave them that way because that's the alphabetical order. I need to go back to the top of my document here, and I need to finalize my formatting by doing 12 Times New Roman, 12-point font. I can also open this up as a font setting on this and set a default on it. I can also go here and reestablish my primary format here, set as a default, yes, okay, document only, or all documents based on normal template. I know that these are both correct. I would hit enter here. I don't care if these are hyperlinked or not, folks, but I do care that these are in existence on your citation page. Every single one of these entries must have a hanging indent after the first line. So I would hit enter and then tab, and after the first line it will move over the rest. So everything should be left justified with hanging indent and in alphabetical order. If these are reports or articles that are peer reviewed from our databases, with very few exceptions, they should include a DOI. I have a number of submissions already that works cited pages and entries that you're giving me do not include DOIs. They have web or accessed on. That's problematic because a lot of those are exactly what generative AI does because it doesn't have access to legitimate databases, so it makes up its citations. Please don't fall into this category, folks. We're having enough issues with the online classes to begin with in these areas. Okay? There's a very big discrepancy between the issues in face-to-face and online courses right now, and the main one is that in the face-to-face sections we're not seeing anywhere near the degree of item submissions being flagged for generative AI or plagiarism. In online courses, it's 30% in some classes. In face-to-face, some have less than 5%. So please make sure you guys are doing this legitimately and doing the research as you should be. The submission for this evening, again, if you did your summary and working thesis and have a thesis statement, these are now your topic sentences for breaking down what your individual body paragraphs will be about in your outline that's due for next week. Now, if I collapse this one here, and I go back to the course home, a couple of quick things on this. As I said, pay attention to the due dates that are listed over here. In the course schedule from last week on the 10th, primary points of support still due this evening, rhetorical analysis. This is what was adjusted here. Discussion board, those are all done, but students still do have access to view what your classmate posted. Now, I didn't keep a discussion board for the research papers. As I said, there weren't enough students participating in these to make that much of a difference now. So for the research paper, you're just going to rely on my summary and working thesis and primary points of support with works cited feedback this week for the outline, and then outline next week for your final drafting on that. Okay. Now, in the reading selection, as I said, all the reading now should be focused on your peer-reviewed items that you're finding through the databases. This week here, excuse me, on the 11th, the research paper outline due by the 11th at 11:30 p.m. The rewrites coming up, which are optional. Now, it's listed here as the 11th, and then the research paper on the 18th, and the success seminars by the 18th. If you look up here in these drop boxes, those are still the same, but the rewrite I moved to the 15th. I can give more time on that because I do have 3 or 4 of you here and where I still want to put more commentary on that final draft that you had. If it's not posted with a grade yet on there that has a finalization on the final draft, That should be very, very shortly. And anybody who needs time on that, I'll give you. But I only have a few of you that I suggested rewrites. I didn't take further points away if you didn't have feedback that would have addressed some of those things prior to it. I only took it away if they were egregious things that were completely skipped over on some of those. The other note that I want you guys to see here is the ASC tutoring sessions. I've only received a few of these. Everyone has to do one for the semester, and I also made recommendations of YTRs at the beginning of the term with your diagnostics. I don't think I have anyone really adhering to those. So that will be something, if I don't get these, everyone will have a deduction from their final grade. This is extra credit for doing the one required, but a deduction for not doing at least the one required. Then students who had more of a YTR recommendation suggesting that you do more than one throughout the term. YTR 2 was once per assignment drafting stage. YTR 3 was all drafting and revision stages. If I didn't get any adherence to that, then I will not give consideration or further consideration to the submissions when I'm on the fence between two grades. If you did no additional support but it was recommended and you still have an abundance of sentence level issues, remember, we're not responsible for doing sentence level issues in a Comp 1 online asynchronous class, nor are we responsible for following around for the different submissions and things. You have to adhere to those, and if you do have sentence level, punctuation, grammar, mechanical issues across the board, you have to seek the additional assistance that we provide at the institution for those things, including that ASC seminar. I've mentioned this since the week 1 of the semester. So now that is for that one on the tutoring stuff. The other Dropbox that's open here now, guys, is the request for WS grade. If students know at this point you're not going to be able to make it through, you're not going to be able to finish the things, here's one option. I've opened this Dropbox, I've done this before, where in lieu of a failing grade, you can post a request here to me to ask for a WS. Make sure you read through this. There can be financial aid implications if you're repeating a class. They're not common, but they can exist. But it is better oftentimes to get a WS on the report card as opposed to an F because it doesn't impact GPA. But in order to do so, first and foremost, this is an instructor-initiated grade. You can't insist on this, but I will take into consideration if this is what you would prefer. I will look over whether or not you had submissions this term, and if you fell off for whatever reason, you got sick, work got to be too much, let me know, and I will consider it. This is obviously fall of 23, but I want your request officially either on a Word document or just posted into the window for this Dropbox. Now, the other thing that we're going on this week, as I said, is coming up on the outline with abstract. So for this week, the other option besides the WS grade is I did these two things. Call for submissions on these, first and foremost, criteria and exclusions. Make sure you've read through this. I'm leaving the window of opportunity open until the 10th of December at 11:30 p.m. Students who missed assignments, regardless of the issue, if you've gone through and done tutoring at least once, doesn't have to be all the time, if you've gone at least once and you're going to address these things, make sure you go through and put submissions into each Dropbox for assignments, and you have to follow these messaging instructions. This is not for students who violated academic honesty policies. This is for students who actually missed a component of something of work. Maybe you missed the rough draft on memoir or the rough draft on rhetorical analysis or one of the summary outlines. Now is a call for at least partial credit to be given to those things if they're submitted to me by December 10th at 11:30 p.m. You follow this criteria, and I receive the message up here. It looks like someone sent me another one today. That is something that I'm leaving as an opportunity for you guys to redeem some of those. If you cannot, I'm leaving the opportunity, also the option open to request a WS grade. Now, the thing coming up this week, once you're done with your summary and working thesis and primary points of support and working in works cited page, now you're writing your outline. Read through all these requirements. Make sure you follow everything, third person objective. Make sure that you follow the requirements for quotes, and especially down here, guys, for quote formatting. Make sure you read through those requirements. On here, here's an example of the template. If you've done your summary and working thesis correctly, that should qualify for these two entire categories here. That whole summary and working thesis becomes these two. Then you'll just need a general to specific statement. If you did music therapy, there are already examples here. Do not use mine, write your own. Then in the bodies, make sure you have your topic sentence in the category it belongs in, along with the conclusion, and at least 10 sentence details in the bodies, including the quote requirements. Intro, give,